Hello Army BTS Lover.no one can predict what will happen today. Army world snapped, all social media shook, and thousands of people are wondering with curiosity, what exactly did Jungkook just do to make Jimin, a person who is always calm and full of confidence, look so shocked in front of everyone? This story begins with a truly joyful event. A special event was held to celebrate an important moment for BTS, a moment that reunites members who are serving in the military with their loyal fans. Many thought the event would be full of smiles, laughter, and perhaps tears as usual. But no one could have guessed that in the midst of that warm atmosphere, Jungkook will do something that makes everyone hold their breath. Looking back with open eyes, Jimin himself was at a loss for words. As the show went on, the members one by one went on stage. They are dressed in casual uniforms, smiling broadly, although the look on their faces could not completely hide their deep longing for the army. The music plays softly, the spotlights move slowly, creating a warm but also emotional atmosphere. Jungkook and Jimin stood side by side, as always two best friends who've shared so many moments together, from small laughs to tears behind the stage. Until the end, Jungkook held the microphone, looking at Jimin with eyes that are difficult to interpret. Armies around the world watching through the live broadcast could feel the tension. This is not just an ordinary moment. There's something heavy on Jungkook's chest, and he's getting ready to get it out. Without much ado, Jungkook took a deep breath and said, "I have to say it now, in front of everyone. Because I don't want to regret it." Those words alone had already made a small rumble among the audience. Jimin looked at Jungkook, initially with a slight smile, thinking maybe this is just part of a funny surprise or some kind of game they're used to. But no, it's more than that. Jungkook then, in a slightly quivering but confident voice, revealing something that even in Jimin's wildest dreams might never have imagined. "Hyung, all this time, I learned a lot from you. But more than that, I want you to know, you're not just a coworker, not just Hyung. You are someone who means a lot to me. You are the one who keeps me going when I want to give up." Instantly, the mood changed dramatically. Nobody laughed. No cheerful background music. There is only silence, a meaningful silence. It was like the world was holding its breath with Jimin. Jimin, who is known to be always cheerful, this time looked really surprised. The mouth is slightly open, the eyes are rounded, and he doesn't know what to react to. The whole audience, army around the world, even the other members all frozen. What Jungkook just did wasn't unusual. This is a sincere statement from the heart of a man who rarely shows his feelings bluntly in public. This is not a scenario, not a gimmick, not part of the show. This is an honest phrase that comes out of the deepest layers of his feelings. Looking at Jimin, who froze in place, Jungkook smiled a little, then continued, "I think I'll regret it for the rest of my life if I never say it honestly in front of everyone who means anything to us. Hyung, I thank you for being the reason I keep going." Muffled cries were heard in some corners of the room. Even the camera filming the event seemed to shake a little, as if the operator was dissolved in emotions. Other members down, smiling bitterly while wiping their eyes secretly. Jimin finally moved on. He put his hand on his chest, trying to catch his breath. His eyes began to glaze over. He stepped slowly towards Jungkook, and without saying anything, he hugged her tight. Such a strong hug, as if representing all the words he could not say at that moment. Jungkook closed his eyes, replying to the hug. It's like the world is crying with them. The moment lasted for a few seconds that felt like an eternity. There was no other sound except the sound of their heavy breathing. No other movement except the heartbeat felt so real even from the live broadcast screen. After hugging, Jimin finally pulled away a little, looking at Jungkook with eyes still full of tears, but smiled warmly. In a hoarse voice, he said, "Me too. I feel that way too, Jungkook. I'm proud of you." Those simple words were enough to make Jungkook look down, hides his smile and wet eyes. They stood there, two men strengthening each other, showing that behind the glitter of popularity, behind the big stage and millions of fans, they are still two young people who need each other, save each other. The event was then resumed. But the atmosphere had already changed. Everything feels more honest, more real. The members spoke in a deeper, more personal tone. Some of them even shared stories about how they survived each other during difficult times. The entire internet exploded. The hashtag Jungkook to Jimin immediately trending #1 on various platforms. Footage of the moment was shared millions of times in a matter of minutes. Army wrote messages full of emotion, says how meaningful it is to see such sincerity directly, without filters, without scripts. Within hours, articles were popping up. BTS most honest moment in history. Jungkook cries as he reveals his feelings to Jimin, a declaration of love that shook the world. No, it's not just about love in a romantic sense. It's about love in the deepest sense, gratitude, a sense of mutual trust, an unspoken sense of mutual need for many years. That day witnessed that the relationship between BTS members was not something made up for the sake of the camera. It grows from wounds, from struggles, from the long days where giving up almost felt like a choice. But they still stood together, and it all started with Jungkook's courage to tell the truth. That moment will live on in ARMY's memory, became one of the most moving and authentic moments in BTS history. In a world full of lies, the innocent honesty of a Jungkook becomes something very rare and valuable. What just happened? Something more than a surprise. Something more than just an emotional speech at an event. What happens is a recognition of the importance of friendship, family, and the courage to love without fear, and maybe that's why we all love them so deeply. After that warm hug, the atmosphere of the room was still heavy with hanging emotions. The other members, who from the beginning watched from the side of the stage, began to move closer. RM is usually the calmest. This time it looks like a deep sigh, as if trying to restrain the overflow of feelings that flared up in him. He walked towards Jungkook and Jimin, then without saying a word, he gently patted both of them on the shoulder, provide support in simple but meaningful gestures. Suga, with his characteristic little smile, stood slightly behind. His eyes looked glazed. He is not the kind of person who shows his emotions clearly, but that day, all those defensive walls seemed to collapse. He whispered something to Jimin, something that wasn't caught on camera, but Jimin's expression softened, as if Suga's words were another invisible hug. V approaches at a slow pace, carrying a warmer energy. He embraced his two friends, and for a moment, the three stood in a small circle, support each other without words. V, famous for his playful side, that day showed another face, the face of a true friend who is ready to be by their side whenever needed. J-Hope, known for his cheerfulness and laughter, in fact, it's one of the most emotional. He wiped his eyes plainly. I don't care about the camera pointing at him. He said in a hoarse voice, you are all the reason I keep dreaming. The simple remark was greeted with a small nod from the other members, affirm a sense of brotherhood that can never be broken by time, distance, or anything else. In the midst of all that, armies all over the world were swept away in the same feeling. Not a few of them cried together, writing thousands of messages on Twitter, Weverse, Instagram, even made a compilation video about that moving moment. Some drawing illustration of Jungkook and Jimin's embrace, present their works as a sign of love. Others create long threads filled with memories of their friendship over the years, proving that what happened on stage that day was not a separate incident, it was the culmination of a long journey they had taken together. News broadcasts in South Korea immediately raised this news to major headlines. Articles titled "Jungkook's Honesty Shakes the World" appeared on major news portals. Some television stations even repeat footage of the moment many times. Let the whole nation witness a shred of the magic of that sincere friendship, not just in Korea. The international media is also not to be outdone.